My name is James Shikwati. I'm the founder director of the Inter-Region Economic Network, in short, IREN Kenya. And it was a big honor for us to work with the Friedrich Naumann Foundation to carry out a perception survey last year on how Africans perceive the engagement of European Union and China with the people of Africa and the continent at large. And so today we've just been unveiling the outcome of that survey. It's a very important survey because it gives us some perception of exactly what Africans feel about Europe and EU in general and China. So first, what's important to bear in mind is Africa is not one country. The survey covered over 1,000 people across different countries. And we know also the European Union is not one country. And in this triad of perception, China is the only player that comes in as one country. And so the basic point, if I were to summarize the outcome of this perception, is that you notice that the key points can easily be categorized into two. China performs far much better in mostly infrastructure related questions, in terms of delivery time and in terms of decision making time compared to, let's say, the European Union. But when it comes to matters that we characterize as software, meaning human rights, matters to do with gender, sensitivity about labor standards, challenges of climate change, the European Union outpaces China by almost 10 points on average. So in essence, that's why we are calling it the clash of systems, because here we are looking at two interesting systems. One, focusing largely on software-related matters. This is the European Union, talking more about values, investing more on values. And the other system, which now is Chinese, focusing more on the hardware-related matters, meaning infrastructure investments around the continent. So the clash comes in because for the European Union, they are putting a bigger stake on the values. And for the Chinese, I think, looking at the perception, they are interested in big projects in Africa, and big projects cannot happen in one country. They have to do projects that cut across many countries in Africa, and therefore they become major players in the hardware or in the infrastructure-related investments. So in terms of policy recommendations, of course, the way the perception survey is designed is any policymaker can read it and come up with specific policy points that are sensitive to their environment. But we make two general recommendations. The first one is based on the survey outcomes, is for European Union specifically to come out of its paternalistic mindset. The European Union seems to be trapped in the past, how they used to perceive Africa. So a lot of their policy decisions are trapped into that old cage, and it compromises their ability to move with Africa to the future. And for the African leaders, because now they have multiple players, because we can see China has become increasingly effective as well as the European Union, is for African policymakers to have able navigational tools on how to manage relationships with multiple players. Because now it's no longer just a question of one player being a dominant player. But in conclusion, we know that it's all about competition, because the European Union has to compete, and to compete, you compete to win. And the same for China. They also have to compete to win. And then in this respect, we call for African agency, because if people are competing in your space, you need to be proactive with your own policy strategy of how you exert your agency, so you don't just become a receiver from the other players. So that's basically the points we raise in our concluding remarks.